Hello, freedom-loving Australians. I'm sure you've heard that the federal election has been called for May the 3rd. So I'm making this video to explain to you what volunteer campaigns I'm getting involved in and how you can get involved as well, if you like it, of course. And also letting you know that RDA is back and it is rebranded in a way onto a new website, which is reignitedemocracy.com.au. Instead of reignitedemocracyaustralia.com.au, it's just Reignite Democracy, which is a lot easier to find. So in this video, I'll explain to you how we're getting involved, how we're going to help candidates and other things that we're doing. Now, obviously, I'm going to be encouraging people to vote for the minor parties first and so forth and so on, but I'll go into that later because that's not really what this video is about. I'll also be offering candidates a platform on the website and also offering them help with promotional material for events and things like that. That's also not what I'm really here to talk about. What I want to talk about is the volunteering side of things. Now, RDA has a huge volunteer network who are passionate and amazing. And in the federal election 2022, we did amazing work. There was groups all over Australia. Thousands of volunteers got involved. So I want to let you know what we're doing this time. Now, I will be getting behind and pushing the campaign to put Greens last. That's hashtag put Greens last. There's a particular reason why I'm doing that. It's strategic, right? But also it has everything it needs to be a successful campaign. You know that SMART thing that people use? So it's S for specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely, right? This campaign has all of those things, and I'll explain further why I'm putting my effort behind this. Now, you can go to putgreenslast.com.au. That's putgreenslast.com.au. You can sign up and see what's next there. Now, not only is Put Greens Last an achievable and strategic thing to do, and I'll explain why in a second, but I've also learnt a lot from the 2022 election. Now, if you were involved in our Make Your Vote Count campaign or Put the Majors Last campaign, you would remember that we were running around like headless chickens trying to help every single minor party, and we were spread so thin, and I can't do that again. I must be prudent with my energy and your expectations as well. I take it very seriously what I ask people to do and what I'm willing to do myself, and also the potential risks or benefits and potential success or not success. And having learnt all we did in 2022, I'm looking at this election a little bit differently. Now, I was hoping that in the last 3 years that the freedom-focused minor parties would have found a way to amalgamate and come together so that us volunteers wouldn't be, ripped apart in so many ways and in so many different directions. But that just hasn't happened. We simply don't have the numbers and the resources to help nine different parties and then independents and things like that. So what can we do? And what is the potential reality? Okay, now the reality is that the 2025 election, it won't be a Freedom Party takeover, okay? It's just not going to happen. We might get some Senate seats, and that's going to be great, right? But we all know that it's not looking too great for a complete change around, okay? Now, I'm not being pessimistic, okay? I'm not being negative either. It's just the truth. And, the Freedom Parties are too splintered, and our voting base isn't large enough to support all of them, and it's not large enough to change the country in this election. However, I don't want to be completely negative, so I will tell you that after experiencing the 2022 elections, and then now soon we're going to experience the 2025 election, I've come to the conclusion that we need a new tactic. And I have that tactic ready to go straight after this election. And I also know other people that are working towards other things for the 2028 election. So I'm not giving up on the 2025 election, right? I'm just saying that even if it's a bad outcome, don't be too despondent, because we have plans. We've learnt that the Freedom Parties aren't going to come together, so we're going to have to take matters into our own hands. And so new tactics are coming out straight after the election, okay? But anyway, back to the 2025 election. So we can't possibly volunteer for all the parties. We know that, right? But we can definitely volunteer and campaign in current Green seats and get them kicked out. It is achievable. We must accept, unfortunately, that if a Green seat is lost and picked up by a Labor Party member, that's actually a tiny win. Like, not a big win, not what we want, right? But Labor's bad. But Greens are really, really bad, right? We're not going to change the country in one election cycle, but taking seats away from the Greens is actually achievable and worth doing. And the reason why is because so many experts are saying that in this particular election, it's most likely going to be a hung parliament or a minority government, which means that neither Labor or Liberal get 76 seats. So neither of them actually hold the balance of power in the major parties, right? So then the crossbench, which is made up of people like Gerard Rennick, Ralph Babet, UAP people, One Nation, Malcolm Roberts, Pauline Hanson, and the Greens. They're called the crossbench, right? The independents, the ones that don't belong to a big party, to Labor or Liberal, right? If it's a hung parliament and a minority government, the crossbench becomes very influential because the major party that has the most seats has to do alliances and deals with the crossbench in order to get enough votes to get anything passed or to function as a government. So the worst case scenario for the 2025 election is a minority government, whether Liberal or Labor, and Greens having the balance of power. Now, the absolute worst would be a Labor minority government with Greens having the balance of power in the crossbench. Now, what they would really look like, guys, is the Greens would basically be running the country. Now, if you think Albo's done a bad job, just you wait for 3 years of a Greens government in this country. I mean, they want inheritance tax. They want renewables that are just costing us so much money. They want to legalize heroin. They want to legalize ice, for example. Could you imagine, right? This is just the worst case scenario for Australia. And that is why I'm getting behind Put the Greens Last campaign, because it is measurable, achievable, realistic, and we can actually do it. We've got enough numbers to do it. We've got enough people to do it. We've got the passion. We can't support 9 freedom parties, but we can definitely focus on these particular areas and get them out. Now, there's obviously, I will name on the website which areas we can focus on to get the Greens out, Greens who currently have seats. But it doesn't matter where you live in the country, you can be involved in Put the Greens Last. We're going to have polling booths manned all over the country. They've got millions of flyers ready to go, and we can send them straight to your house. So whether you've got a community group or whether you want to do it on your own, it doesn't matter. We'll send a t-shirt, we'll send a flyer. You can walk around the shopping centres with the t-shirt on leading up to the election. That'll be quite interesting. So I hope that you understand the strategy behind it and the reason why we're doing it this way. We are supporting freedom-focused minor parties in a different way through the website and things like that, but we just don't have the resources to do it with volunteers. So go to putgreenslast.com.au or go to my new website, which is reignitedemocracy.com.au, and let's hit the ground and put the Greens last. I'll see you guys soon.